All right. Hey, y'all, welcome back to Freedom Factor. Today, we're going to be talking about why it's okay not to fit in. There are so many things and so many people pushing young men, young women, really everybody to go in the wrong direction and towards things that are not of the Lord. And well, that's one of our things with this podcast, is showing young people and people of all ages the right path to go down, and things that are happening in this world that are not driven by the Lord, and showing people how to find things that are driven by the Lord. And I don't know, it is so cool to have a young group of people with this Freedom Factor group that are trying to do the right things for the Lord and trying to help others. And yes, there are so many things that young kids are being pushed into nowadays. I mean, gender reformations, or whatever the heck those things are. I mean, there are so many things. I mean, and it is, some of the things are honestly terrible. And it's very good to have strong men, and if you're a young guy, and strong women if you're a young lady, to have strong assets, I guess, that you can look at, and that can guide you through life and point you towards the Lord. It's so important to have those people.
It's more important now than ever for the younger generation that will be the next generation of leaders to have a biblical world view. Everyone has a world view. It's either going to be a humanistic worldview or a biblical worldview. Now, humanistic, you could debate on that all day. The biblical worldview, though, is very important, because this is not an age. The day and time that we live in, it is not a day and age in which we should be soft Christians. If anything, we should be stronger in our faith for anything that comes our way. I was thinking the other day, and when AJ texted me, he said, "Hey, I got this idea. What do you think?" And he said, "What if we talk about, it's okay not to fit in?" And then I was like, man, you know what we should do? This title should be Don't Fit In. Because people like me and AJ and whoever else is watching, I don't care if you're 15 years old, I don't care if you're 80, all right? If you're a Christian, it's okay not to fit in. In fact, it's actually best if you don't fit in. Whenever he sent me this text, I was, yeah, this sounds familiar. And then I figured out why. Because I was thinking, and then I went back to Romans 12:2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Now, the writer here was saying, and be not conformed to this world. Don't be pressed into the world's mold. Don't let them knock you off your rocker, all right? At a day and time that we're in, I mean, it is unreal, all the stuff that is being forced down our throat as kids. And yeah, I still consider myself a kid, so get over it. But it's okay not to vape. It's okay to be old school. In fact, I'd rather be old school, because you know what? Generations before us, they knew how to survive. Not only did they know how to survive, they could take jokes. They didn't get offended as much. If they got offended, they'd have duels. And I'm not saying we should bring duels back, but if we did, we'd have a whole lot less problems. But besides that, yeah, certainly glad that we have a different way of going about disagreements. And it's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to have arguments. It's okay to have debates. In fact, debates are a good thing, actually. You know, this political season that we're walking into, in a way it's good, because we need to debate. We need to figure out who has the better ideas. We are in a day and age where we're in a battle of ideas. Everyone has ideas, but which one's the best one? That's why primaries are important. But, you know, it's okay not to care what people think of you. Just don't care. You should want to take advice from wiser people. A lot of my friends are older. I get picked on that. I don't care. They, you know, older people, they got way more wisdom, and they actually care because they want to see you succeed. It's okay to not party 24/7. You need to make time for family. You need to make time for the people that actually matter in your life. You need to take time to reflect and be grateful and thankful for what you actually have. And it's okay to date to marry someone. It's not okay to date for fun. I've known plenty of people. Like I said, I've had older friends my whole life, so I've seen plenty of things and heard of plenty of bad things that I won't mention. But, you know, young men, we should be doing everything we can to help prepare us to support a family in the future. We should do everything in our power to become more mentally, physically, and spiritually strong. And that is a series that me and AJ was just talking about. And we really want to dive into that a little bit deeper.
That would be a great series. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So, and you know, another thing is it's okay to be loyal. The school system, the public school system, I should say, the colleges, and not all are like this. And I'm not blaming any of this on the teachers because, you know, we have good teachers, especially here in North Carolina. Now, I will say, you know, there are some teachers that shouldn't be teaching, but at the same time, we have a lot of good teachers here. And what we see happening is not all their fault. A lot of this is the home to blame here, if anyone. Because, you know, the kids go to the school, and you have to see where the kids came from, and that was the home. Who's in charge of that home? Well, supposedly it's supposed to be the parents. And before the parents were parents, they were young people. So the preparation for that is extremely important.
Man, like you said, I mean, it is so important to have strong parents now. Because like you were getting at, some parents are soft and, you know, they let their kids do whatever they want and party and, you know, do whatever. And I mean, it is very important to have strong parental guardians that are going to allow you to grow up and show you the nurture and the admonition of the Lord. And I mean, part of the thing that goes along that is ruling the house with a rod of iron. I mean, really, it's the truth. And yeah, another thing with our generation is, I mean, a lot of people don't want to hear the truth, but that is the most important thing that people can hear nowadays, because there's so much confusion and everything else going along, and the best place to look is the Bible. And that is and that's why it is good to have strong parents that are active in the Bible and in church. And yeah, it is just so important to have responsible and strong parents nowadays.
AJ, me and you were extremely fortunate to have parents that raised us in church, and still, I mean, we're not done growing. I mean, you know, when we're 90 years old, if we even make it to that, you know, we're still going to be growing and learning about things. But we have been extremely fortunate, and we understand that there's different situations out there. Yeah. People have different situations, and I'm not saying that they've been unlucky. In a lot of instances, they have been blessed in a way because they have been put through something to make them stronger to understand and teach someone else later on down the road. But in a day like today, we can't defeat the devil if we don't have the full armor of God on. And if we don't have that, then we are set up for failure. Yep. I think a quote I heard one time, it was, fail to plan, plan to fail. And if you do not have on the armor of God, if you do not seek wise counsel, if you want to be like the world and follow in its direction, then you will fail. I met a young lady at the NCGOP convention, and don't crucify me for going to that, because I care about this state, I care about this country, and I'm going to do whatever means necessary to keep it that way. At least keep the good that we still have here. And she attends college in Guilford County. I'm not going to name the name. But she is one of the very, very few that actually have their head attached to their shoulders the right way. I mean, she has been constantly picked on, constantly torn down, constantly discouraged. Even her grades are marked down because of the way she thinks. And so much for crap agenda saying love is love. Well, actually, you ain't shown nothing but hate to the ones that actually love. And in fact, they really don't know love. They will never know what true love is until they have a relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ.
Yep.
But to get back to my point, she was saying, it is so hard for me to stay on track and not be conformed, like we were just saying, to not compromise. So if you're one of those people out there that is, even taking college classes, I'm taking online college classes whenever I can, and my grades get bumped down because of my biblical worldview. And I'm not apologizing for that. And, there's been times where I thought I'd be kicked out. And, if that happens, then I'll wear it as a badge of honor. Although that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not looking to get kicked out. But if it does happen, so be it. We are at a point in time where if we compromise, then it will not be good for us down the road, but even worse off for generations after us, like me and AJ. I've got a 3-year-old brother at home, and I think of what he'll have to go through. I'm 18 right now, and just the stuff that me and AJ have to go through is ridiculous. I never thought I'd have to go through this. Whenever I used to sit on the porch in the rocking chair with my grandpa, he would tell me stories of how things used to be. And, that's no longer here. That left quickly. That left more quick than anyone would have imagined. So, and I heard someone say this not too long ago. Said, of course, everyone knows freedom is not free, and a lot of people will never truly know what that means. But everyone has to sacrifice something. So what is that going to be for the people listening? What are you going to sacrifice? That may not be, blood. You might not ever join our nation's military and fight a physical battle. But what about the political spectrum that we have to fight things? What about that? Are you willing to give time? Are you willing to, miss a few important things going on in your family? I know just my dad running for lieutenant governor, and shameless plug, AJ's wearing our shirt, but but everyone has to sacrifice something, and we have sacrificed time, some of our own money, and a lot of mental battling this evil agenda. And it's really sad whenever we can't all work together. And a lot of that is because, you can't expect the lost to act like they're saved. And that's been something that, someone like me and AJ that's been raised in church our whole life, we're like, yeah, I know that, but then you actually get out there and see the evil. We were just at the Lieutenant Governor's mansion for a Moms for Liberty event a while back, and there's protesters, and they are doing nothing but cussing, and there's little kids around. It's like, man, to be a party of love, you sure show a whole lot of hate.
Yeah, and that was like the that meeting we went to in Raleigh where they were voting for the abortion bill. Man, they call that love. I've never seen love like that before. That was pure hate. A bunch of our group got cussed out, and a lot of them got really nasty, and they were yelling at the end big time. I've never seen any love like that. And like you said, the only true love is from the Bible.
a lot of people will never understand what we're talking about. A lot of people might not ever go to the legislative building in support of a bill. A lot of people might never go to the legislative building in protest of a bill. And I'm not saying that you should go to the legislative building and protest anything, but be that salt and light that we were called to be, because I have never, ever been so more concerned than I am now, knowing what I know, seeing what I'm seeing, being involved in what we're doing. It just shows me how much more important it is to be active and, more importantly, proactive. Because if we don't save what we have, we most likely will never regain it. It is extremely important for the younger generation to get started on the right foot with a biblical worldview.
All right, y'all. Last word. Don't conform to the world, and stay in your Bibles. And I guess we'll see y'all later. See you next time.